Hey everyone, welcome to some of our exclusive online content for our latest cover story, Tacoma. Tacoma is the next game by Fullbright, who are the creators of Gone Home. I'm here today with Juba.
That's me.
And I'm Kimberly Wallace, in case you didn't already figure it out.
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is obviously a new setting. If you've played Gone Home, you're familiar with walking around a house and looking at stuff. Now we have a space station.
In the year 2088. So not too far into the future, but just enough to have a good idea of maybe, this mystery of what they think the future is actually going to be.
Right. And we should also point out what we're looking at here is some very early footage. This game isn't scheduled to come out until 2016. So you might notice some little technical hitches here and there, but there's time to iron it out.
Yes, for sure.
What we're looking at, basically, the setup is you play a woman named Amy who shows up on a space station, Tacoma, to find that the crew is sort of not around.
Yeah.
And
show up for your first day of work and you're like, I'm ready to go. And
right. Kind of like Gone Home in that regard. There's the mystery of sort of figuring out what happens. What's interesting and new, I think, in Tacoma is, as we're seeing here, there are hologram sort of things all over the place. There's technology in the year 2088 that I think is interesting because it's familiar enough that it doesn't seem like totally foreign, but it's also advanced enough that it's that it still feels novel or clever.
Yeah, by going in the station, you agree to have your body positioning tracked, and there are recreations of the people for you up here that are colored recreations with their names above them. So you'll never actually see people. Fullbright wanted you guys to use your imagination and kind of fill in the blanks, kind of like you did in Gone Home. But there's science behind why that's possible.
Right. Yeah. I mean, as we saw at the very beginning of the video, there's sort of a thing that says you consent to be recorded by entering the station, and how the station records you is think of the way if you've used Kinect for your Xbox, the station doesn't actually take video of you. It's positioning recording. So the way Kinect sort of reads you as a skeleton without distinct features is how the station sees you also, and those are the recordings that you're watching. But you still get to, you get a sense of the characters by how they speak, how they move, where they move, and things like that. And you do have little portraits there too that you can at least have some idea of who these people are.
And as we just saw before with the surface transfer, part of being in space is that you have the ability to go explore ceilings for different nooks and crannies that also contain different items. It's very much like I said, Gone Home with some extra exploration. You'll still see a bunch of items floating around that you can pick up. And what's cool about these is you kind of get to see how they lived in space. Obviously, noodles are still I'm glad ramen is still popular. That makes me happy. But.
Yeah. And another interesting thing about the way the conversations happen is that there are some times when there might be a group of people talking and they split off in different directions. We saw that in the med bay just a little bit ago. And you will actually get different pieces of that conversation depending on which people you choose to sort of follow around.
Yeah, you can follow one person and probably find out where they hide their lock up their things and find the code to it. Or you find out listening to a different conversation that maybe two members aren't getting along right now, or what they're worried about. It definitely. One thing to get used to is you're not just going to listen to one static conversation. You're going to want to replay the conversations and walk around and see what the different people are doing.
Right. And of course, a big part of it is figuring out the mystery of just what's going on in this station. And, the fun of it is putting together all of those pieces at sort of your own pace, I think. So what we have is a lot of familiar elements for people who've played Gone Home, but also a lot of cool stuff afforded by the new setting and all the technology to sort of make exploring the area interesting and to make, the puzzle pieces fit together in more interesting ways.
Very true. Like I said, I'm already intrigued, and it has that same feel that Gone Home did, where you're like, I don't know, something eerie's going on here, or is it really? We don't know yet, and we'll find out. But yeah, that was our first look at Tacoma.